starting all over in Akwa Ibom because my only choice, though I had no clear direction except a blank slate and the idea to start an academy. It was due to this uncertain period that I encountered Christ through street evangelism. Just days before meeting Brother Samuel, I had prayed for new company, declaring that I was done with my former life. Music had become an idol and fame was all I desired. God and His will for my life weren't even in the picture. Around this time, there was a strong emphasis in our teaching and exhortations that when you come to God, He takes things from you and returns them at the right time if it is His will. If I had stayed in my old life, one of these three things or worse might have happened. I could have killed someone, or someone would have killed me, or I would have run mad, which was my greatest fear at that time. After spending some time in Akwa Ibom, I realized that returning to Lagos was no longer an option due to the lifestyle and circumstances I have been involved in, and this posed a serious threat to my pursuit of music as a classical and performing violinist. Starting all over in Akwa Ibom because my only choice, though I had no clear direction except a blank slate and the idea to start an academy. At the time, I believed there was no real market for the performing arts in Akwa Ibom. It was due to this uncertain period that I encountered Christ through street evangelism. A brother from this house, Brother Samuel Otaka, spoke to me. Although I didn't understand much of what he said that day, I was drawn to him. His thoughts and mannerisms caught my attention. I was coming from a completely different background. Just days before meeting Brother Samuel, I had prayed for new company, declaring that I was done with my former life. I took his number and ever since I haven't stopped coming. Today, I fully understand what he was trying to share with me then. He was walking me through the life of Apostle Paul. In Akwa Ibom, I taught music in schools, but that wasn't the dream. I didn't come to God's Lighthouse as a violinist. I came as one seeking God, a new life, and a genuine place of worship. Back then, I only went where I was invited and if the money was right. Music had become an idol and fame was all I desired. God and His will for my life weren't even in the picture. The distraction was too massive. Days before one of our retreats at CCC, a few brethren from the Ikotekpene church encouraged me to bring my violin to camp. I was reluctant at first. I had almost lost passion for it, but they persuaded me. I brought it along and ended up joining the worship session with it. That was how I began serving as a temple musician in God's Lighthouse. Around this time, there was a strong emphasis in our teaching and exhortations, particularly from pastor and other brethren, that when you come to God, He takes things from you and returns them at the right time if it is His will. Those teachings stayed with me even though I didn't fully grasp what I had lost or what had been taken. I was simply grateful for the new life and looking forward to whatever He has planned for me. If I had stayed in my old life, one of these three things or worse might have happened. I could have killed someone, or someone would have killed me, or I would have run mad, which was my greatest fear at that time. Looking back, I see that I had no real hand in this journey. I didn't make any grand choice. I felt like it felt like a divine Passover from Egypt to the promised land. God orchestrated everything perfectly. I was just a pawn and He is the sovereign king. His ways are past finding out, truly. Before studying music, I wanted to be many things. Eventually, I settled on becoming a sound engineer, but no school in Nigeria offered the course. Fortunately, I received a scholarship to study music and took it. One day, a lecturer of mine, a notable choral player and composer with influences from Gambia and the UK, asked what area of music I wanted to pursue. I hadn't thought about it before, but I spontaneously answered film music, because you always have to think big, But my energy had been focused solely on playing the violin. Recently, I realized that most of my composition and arrangement have a cinematic feel. You can listen and visualize scenes. I believe that was divine, because I've never started a project with a mental picture or melody in mind. It's always a work of faith. I begin with a sound that is on the digital audio workspace. Digital audio workspace is like your Filmora or your Photoshop or your cooking pot. Basically the place where you prepare the food. So that is the DAW. They call it DAW. So in case you hear someone say DAW, that is a digital audio workspace. Okay. It's always a work of faith. I begin with a sound and the rest unfolds. It reminds me of the scripture, open your mouth and I will fill it, or do not worry about what to say. I will give you the words. Most people say, oh, I had this tune in my head, I had this melody, and then I was rushing back home to go put them down, all right? But for me, it has never been the case. Before producing music, a lot of times I'm scared. But, it always good. So, God has now given me back music, not just as a career, but as an instrument of healing and spreading truth. Today, I am not just a violinist, but also a sound engineer. I didn't spend a dime to become one. I couldn't have been able to afford it. I'm involved in every part of music creation from top to bottom. I now barely have time to play the violin except in God's presence. Indeed, the Lord is good to those who wait for Him, to the soul who seek Him. It is good to hope and wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord. And even though I wasn't actively hoping or waiting, He showed me mercy. This proves that He is good to both the righteous and the unrighteous. I also thank God for opening my eyes to where I came from and what He saved me from. On January 26th this year, Pastor prayed that God would reveal to us the things He had saved us from. The next day, not up to 24 hours, I stumbled upon different YouTube videos on street life, drug addiction, and cultism, especially the same cults I would have joined. It struck me deeply. I saw the darkness and failure that could have been my end. I didn't do anything lightly back then. I went all in. On a recent visit to my mom's house, I sat outside one evening when someone I had evangelized to came by to buy his usual fix. That is the marijuana. He was shocked to see me and asked what I was doing there. When I told him it was my mom's place, he genuinely thought I had come to buy marijuana. Can you imagine? Excited, he admitted he came to buy weed and was disappointed it wasn't what I was there for. Thank God. So, his dealer who lives in the next compound, someone I once introduced to smoking marijuana, came out and was equally excited to see me, and we exchanged greetings warmly. This dealer is now known as one of the bad boys in town. I used to send him on errands to buy marijuana when I visited Akwa Ibom. I would encourage him to drag a little smoke. Now, he told this friend about my past, and the guy was shocked. He said no one could ever guess I lived that life or came from that past. I was deeply grateful to God. But my heart broke about a year ago when the dealer said to me, "Bros, you spoil me finish, now you don't turn pastor, Abi." I apologized to him and asked God for mercy. I've been trying to win him to the light. I pray he comes through one day. I walked off the friend who came to buy the fix and share more about the life and its consequences. As I shared more of my story, he got emotional and admitted he wants to be free. I pray for his deliverance too.
Thanks for watching. For more stories of God's transforming power as well as all the life-changing content, do check out the links in the description. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, turn on your notification bell, and share. God bless you.